This video is sponsored by
Yes, it's sponsored. Clap it. Yeah, I know, right?
This video is sponsored by Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Appreciate y'all for tapping in, my boy. There are just about 3 things I generally look forward to in every single game I play. First is, obviously, how fun the gameplay is. Second, the narrative or story, if there is one. And 3 is customization. It's a very heavy emphasis for me. I wouldn't say it makes or breaks the experience as much as gameplay or narrative does, but it's still an absolute must that is only going to make the experience 1,000 times better and potentially add 1,000 times more replayability. What? Replayability. Plus, I don't be fitted out like that in real life, bro. All I be having on is hoodies and sweatpants and shit. I can't even be doing that as much nowadays because brands want to charge like $500 for a hoodie. And to the person in the comment section typing, broke nigga alert. I know where you live. Not only that, but look, I simply don't want to be the only nigga at the function fitted out like a Bloodborne character. I don't have that kind of heart in me.
Bro, who the f is this nigga, bro? Yo, who the fuck is this nigga?
Fashion in video games is something I personally am very passionate about because without being able to express yourself through your fashion sense or simply be able to grind for a really cool outfit, a game will get boring significantly faster in comparison to that same game if it had more customization options. You can't argue that it does depend on the game. For some games, it simply isn't necessary, like narrative heavy games, horror games, and episodic games, to name a few exceptions. So, this will be a bit of a longer video, so get your snacks in and get comfortable. Or just have it in the background and fall asleep to it. I'll be here regardless. And I'll be going over some common systems set up for clothing and general customization in games. Some of which are my favorites and I think should serve as role models of its kind. As well as others that I am typically not a fan of at all. Cause I'ma be real, putting stats on clothes kinda sucks. I personally think what you're wearing should always be independent of what stats or perks you actually get from it. Because being in a predicament where you gotta dress like Serge Ibaka cause those are the best stats in your inventory isn't really that fun. Moreover, it has the potential to inspire the kind of meta in online games that'll have everybody wearing the same exact outfit because it gives the best possible advantage. You could say, if you don't want to wear it, don't wear it, simple as that. You can say that all you want. And in single player games, it honestly isn't as much of an issue. But if the kind of advantage you need to win something requires you to put these on, especially in a multiplayer game where everybody else is already wearing it, that's not fun. The natural answer to an issue like this is to separate clothes. So it is purely cosmetic and have stats, perks, and armors be separate. So that way you're able to apply certain perks to whatever clothes you like to give whatever advantage you currently need and still be dripped the f out. A system like this is perfect because that way everybody isn't wearing the same thing for the sake of an upper hand. It makes the experience much more personal, much more fun. Starbound does exactly this. There are 2 rows of slots for 3 parts of your body: head, torso, and legs. 1 row is strictly armor. The attire that you place in these slots are purely for how the stats affect you and give you an upper hand in gameplay. Whereas the 2nd row is strictly vanity. Any piece of clothing you place here will be cosmetic only, therefore will be what is shown on your person. Its stats will not affect you in any way. This is perfect, and I don't know why more games don't do this if they're going to merge clothes and stats. Because in the context of a multiplayer game, I'm gonna keep bringing this up by the way, even if there is a specific set of armor that is the current meta, that's okay. You can have it equipped and still have everybody in the game going fit for fit.
Legit boss ass nigga low. This gang shit. I'm on top long, real nigga cut. I'm on top all.
I don't necessarily have a problem with a perk or weapon or car being the best of its kind, being a meta of sorts, as long as it's not glaringly overpowered. It's only expected for a handful of classes or guns or cars to stand out from within a wide selection of them. I just don't think visual cosmetics should have to do with this. One example of this being the case doesn't have to do with the clothing per se, but still counts as visual customization, and that is racing games. Literally since forever, racing games have had visual customization and performance upgrades separate because it just makes sense. Naturally, it does bleed into each other, like how some tire patterns and suspension can affect gameplay. Also how there are sometimes specific classes of cars like performance, drag racing, and off-road. But visual customization will still remain cosmetic for the most part. Speaking of classes, when you invite a mechanic like this into the structure of a game, it's expected for classes to affect a appearance or gameplay, or just how a universal attire can be. Let's take a game like Warframe for example. Every Warframe functions as a different kind of class with their own abilities, but they all have cosmetic skins, helmets, and accessories. You can trick every part of your Warframe head to toe, including your weapons. Some Warframes are meant to be played like tanks, however with the inclusion of perks, you can alter the stats in any way you want depending on what perks you have and how powerful they are. Which is great because the better perks you have for you and your weapons, the less you will see yourself in a predicament where I have to be this specific Warframe to do this part of a mission. Which is awesome because not gonna lie, a lot of the Warframes are ugly, bro. This nigga looks like a dystopian vagina. When it comes to stats in RPGs, I completely understand the necessity of implementing certain mechanics to your appearance or clothing. But this is still a very manageable obstacle. It's been proven countless times with many games. Notably, a game that you couldn't possibly have this conversation without bringing up, Bloodborne. Now, if you've been here for a while, you know I cooked the life out of Bloodborne a couple times. 2K23 S. Boom. Bloodborne. Man, if y'all see my last video, y'all already know how I feel about Bloodborne, bro. I'm not gonna spend no time on these niggas. With that being said, I still love the game to death. For many reasons, right? Because the fashion sense, bro, the fits you could pull off in that game.
The hell wrong with you? Hey, yo!
Bloodborne to this day is one of, if not the coldest game when it comes to outfit selection, dog. It's the fact that the default outfit is one of the cleanest. If you've played the game, you'd know that all clothes do have stats tied to them. Slow poison resistance, frenzy resistance, bolts, and fire resistance, to name a few. However, the good thing is that for the most part, the difference in stats was so minuscule that it barely even mattered. Of course, you'd come across a boss or enemy type that relied heavy on elemental attacks, and dressing up as Mickey Mouse and Kingdom Hearts is gonna give you the fire resistance you need to give that nigga a night to read. But your stats had much more to do with the attribute system in Bloodborne, where you'd be able to add points to Vitality, Endurance, Strength, Skill, Blood Tinge, and Arcane. Again, many people would tell you that the stats on the clothes don't really matter, and as long as you don't get hit, it really doesn't, though you will still most likely find yourself switching to a specific set of gear to match the resistance effect of whatever boss or enemy type you're struggling with. But generally, Bloodborne was on a wear whatever the hell you want basis, which is why I love this game. I teleport to another nigga world, whoop his ass, and pose on a dead body like Eve St. Laurent at Christian Dior's funeral. And I'm teleporting back to that nigga's world again, just to make sure he's still dead. Say I'm a dick eating Bloodborne all you want, nigga, I don't care. Another game that manages clothing and stats very well in my opinion is Cyberpunk 2077. Its apparel system is strictly cosmetic, except some pieces come with game-changing, groundbreaking, breathtakingly innovative perks. I mean, can we get a round of applause for 8% reload time reduction? I was just thinking a 3-second reload time was absurd. I'm very glad I can now reload like 2 nanoseconds faster. God bless this game. I only bring this game up because I love the selection of clothes. It's easily one of my favorite. I might be biased though, because I really just adore the cyberpunk aesthetic, and they nailed it down to a T here. Even if 98% of the time you don't see your character because the game's in first person. It wasn't always like this though. Before Cyberpunk 2077, not only did Not only did clothing have a numerical armor value attached to it, but it could be constantly upgraded over and over, so long as you met the required level and had the materials needed. Along with the release of Phantom Liberty, they decided to cut that whole system entirely. And I don't blame them. It genuinely makes dressing up way funner when you don't have stats to think about, bro. Especially considering how in-depth the skill progression and cyberware system is to begin with. But another feature many games have regarding clothes that certain games like Bloodborne doesn't have is different Whether it's being able to choose between one of 3 colorways for an entire outfit, or simply being able to change every layer of the piece of clothing to whatever you want. Saints Row is the first game that comes to mind for the latter. For Saints Row 1, the format was more adjacent to the first mentioned. You had to choose between one of 3 colorways for any piece of clothing. But from Saints Row 2 and on, you were able to select the exact color for any layer of any piece of clothing. That is one of the things that I admire about Saints Row as a franchise to this day. The amount of freedom Saints Row has given the player since the very first game is very cool, you know, like when you put aside the rest of what the game has to offer, because many people have mixed feelings when it comes to 3 and 4, especially the reboots, because it was a heaping pile of dogs. So you gotta respect the depth and customization. Like, I really do adore games that allow a level of boundless creativity that will have you spending as many hours customizing your character as you do actually playing the game. I love it! I'm talking to games like Roblox, Soul Calibur, and Tekken, where customization is nearly limitless and can go past the ability to simply choose colors. Games that encourage the much more wacky and creative side of things. However, that level of freedom is not at all detrimental to good customization. Sometimes offering 2 to 3 or 4 to 5 alternate colorways is more than good enough. Or like 52, if you're GTA Online. Seriously, who needs this many cardigans, nigga? Tyler, the creator? Overwatch is a really good example of this in my opinion. And you know what? That's saying a lot, because Overwatch isn't a good example of anything these days, but they've always nailed it with the skins. I've always appreciated the different colorways of legendary skins and epic and common skins for that matter. Blizzard might make some extremely questionable business decisions, but they can cook up a mean-ass legendary skin. Bro, Reinhardt and Hanzo skinography is so great. They don't got one bad fit. They don't got not one bad fit. Sometimes I feel like games add so many different colorways to the same item that, to be honest, we would have been better off with the color picker. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, GTA Online. They got 58 V-neck sweaters. 58 V-neck sweaters. Who asked for this? Ain't nobody fiending for V-neck sweaters. This intermission is brought to you by the latest installment in the Yakuza series, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Click the link in the description to pre-order the game so you can be the first to play it on January 26th, 2024 on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And who knows, you might even get some special edition goodies. If you're not too familiar with the game, don't worry. My pal, my good buddy, and longtime friend Drewski, we go way back, and he's gonna fill you in.
Welcome to paradise.
Aloha! All right!
I can show you around now. But there's a few things you need to learn before we have a good time. You can have a little fun with some friends. And even pick up a new skill. Whatever you do, be careful. Even paradise can have its secrets.
You trying to tell me there are Yakuza in Hawaii?
Not exactly something you'd find in a guidebook, is it?
Keep your friends close. And your enemies closer.
Name's Dwight.
Nice to meet you.
Take cover!
You remember earlier in this video when I said customization adds 1,000 times more replayability? This that good shit right here, nigga. Whether it is simply progressing through the main story, side missions, or collectibles, things of that nature. It's something about veering from the main story to pursue a side quest and getting a clean-ass outfit or hat that you could have run the entire game without that triggers neuron activation. Ghost of Tsushima will forever be one of my favorite games of all time for many reasons, right? But also because of the way they handle this. See, many mythic tales rewarded you with hats, swords, bows, and other outfits. Every outfit had about 3 upgrades to them that increased their stats and added more to its appearance. Yes, they had stats, but you could always revert back to an outfit's previous appearance if you weren't a fan of the upgraded look. The outfit stats also came with charms, perks that alter the stats on top of the outfit, and weapons, as well as the universal skill tree. The outfit stats do play a drastic role in your playstyle, which can be an unfortunate drawback depending on if that bothers you at all. But as I said earlier in this video, it's not exactly a deal breaker. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and talk to you for 25 minutes like, my pussy hurt. It's not a deal breaker, especially for this game, because I would be switching outfits a lot, but I wasn't too bothered because every fit is hard. To this day, my favorite is the Kensei armor, bro. With this fully upgraded, Jin looks like an urban legend, bro. One look at him with this fit on, you can tell he's him, bro. I also had to grind like hell for this outfit though, because to get it, you literally had to 1v1 5 of Kensei's goons all around the island before dueling the man himself. Which sounds like an awesome concept, because it is. Until you realize you're on lethal mode, meaning you are constantly 1 hit away from death at any given moment, while the person you're dueling can take like 1,000. Could I have lowered the difficulty at any moment? Yes. But in the wise words of Berlizzi himself, I'm a gamer, I do this. Not to mention Kensei's duel was severely bugged out, man. Like, I cannot stress this enough. I was getting my ass handed to me on a silver platter.
I'm gonna get an egg roll with it.
It come with Emma. It come with Emma. It come with Emma. It come with Emma. Emma.
Okay.
But I did it, and I got this clean ass outfit to show for it. Do he kind of look homeless? Yes. Do he look like somebody you want smoke with? No! One of my favorite mechanics in this game though is the dye mechanic. Gathering flowers around the island and exchanging them with a merchant was all you needed for new color variants of your favorite armor. But the cool thing about this game was there was only one black and white merchant. They weren't marked on the map either. You had to find them. The black one was in a random cave, chilling. They had the best shaders, but you had to gather a lot more resources for them in comparison to the ones that was sold at just any other merchant. So it made it much more rewarding when you finally got them. It's the little things like this that invite so much more incentive into actually exploring the world of a game and investing time into it. Of course, being able to simply purchase it in any clothing store is always appreciated, but having to actually hunt animals like in Red Dead 2, nigga, the process itself can be a little frustrating, I won't even lie to you. But the fact that there is an entire catalog of outfits that you can only get by hunting animals, some of these pieces are fire. You know I had to get me that panther cloak, cause ain't no way, bro. I'm not even the type of guy to be hunting animals in games or fishing, cause to be honest, I don't have the patience for that. But I had a vision.
I'll see the shoes.
I knew for a fact that mixing and matching some of these pieces would have me looking like a king.
Slay, bitch ass nigga.
So I spent some hours gathering resources and such, looking for areas where I'd find a panther. Now eventually I had to acquire berries to create predator bait to lure the panther in. And while I was looking for berries, the nigga jumped me. So at that point, I had to spin a block and get my lick back, cause ain't no way I'ma go outside like that, bro. So I spent a good 10 minutes looking for bro. Then after a couple more minutes, I found myself yet again face to face with him. We duped it out. And that shit was a movie. I had to let that nigga know I'm an animal, a beast. I'll play that. I had to show that nigga that he not a real geeker. But this was cut very short because I was being hunted. And they were literally right there. And the Panther skin was so poor quality, I couldn't actually use it. And I accidentally dropped it trying to get on my fucking horse. So yeah, that sucked. Needless to say, locking clothes and colorways behind progression has a lot of potential to make the experience all the more fun. Maybe instead of locking it on progression, you can just have certain shops only be available in certain regions of the maps. Something Rockstar does very frequently in almost every game that has clothes available for purchase. Watch Dogs 2 had this thing where there were more or less 5 main clothing stores, but there were also kiosks all over the map with clothes not available in stores, as well as other clothes found as collectibles around the map. But hey, offering a couple of color variants for purchase is just as appreciated. Or you can say f that and lock it behind a paywall like Warframe. I mean, I don't necessarily blame it though, since it's a free-to-play game, so paywalls are inevitable. But it's almost been 11 years since Warframe released. I've never seen any other game lock basic colors behind a paywall. And $5 too, oh yellow, oh yellow. Being able to personalize your gaming experience in any way is something I cherish deeply. It doesn't have to be all wacky and player-oriented, letting the player to create whatever they can possibly think of. It can be more thematically oriented, designed to be more grounded with contextual significance and consonance with the game's aesthetic, or a nod to the character's background. It doesn't have to be something you hunt animals for or dual swordsmen to the death for. It can just sit there available for purchase. It doesn't have to be the most intricate and wide variety of selection possible. It could just be as small as alternate colorways. It doesn't even have to be, like, really. Games can be just as fun and timeless without it, especially if the game has fantastic art direction or narrative or gameplay to begin with. It's not necessary to make an awesome game, but considering all of the forms that customization can come in, even the simplest form of customization doesn't really have a downside, does it?